Alright, this is a video of my Sevylor, customized Sevylor 360. It's November 9th, it's cold, and I need to put this thing away, so I thought I'd do a quick video of my customized portion of a Sevylor 360 fish hunter. I saw guys doing this on YouTube and took some of the ideas, thank you very much, and did some of my own. So this is my video of my customized Sevylor 360. Fairly simple setup, I guess. There's 3 pieces of plywood, one on the back, one on the front, and plywood in the bottom, and then you have the boat. The boat itself blows up in probably about 5 minutes. I use a inflator blower that hooks to a battery, which the same battery that runs the 30-pound thrust trolling motor, but breaks it down pretty good. So I'm going to go over a few things that I did to the boat and kind of show you. There's a few things I want to do, but for now, this is about all I'm going to do for now. So let's check out what's on the inside. First of all, I got some of them I saw plywood in the middle. I really didn't want any plywood in the middle. I want as much room as possible. So I left it open in the middle. And some of the stuff in the boat that I would have is obviously my minnow bucket with an aerator. This right here is my cast net for cast netting. So it's nice to have when we're out on the water. Tackle box, I bought the right size, fits underneath the seat. It's the right size, about all I need. I got a minnow trap in here for setting minnow traps. If we're out on the water, I can set minnow traps, and plenty of room. I like to listen to music, so I bought a Bluetooth waterproof speaker, which absolutely rocks, loud, and a waterproof container, pretty cheap one. It works just fine with the phones, rings. So yeah, so some nice cool stuff in there. There's a spot the battery fits up underneath there. It's not in there now, but that's the container for it. Plenty of room. Basic design that I incorporated is the seat is attached to the floor, and the floor is attached to the 2 front and back pieces of plywood. And the plywoods are the size. They ended up this size, just as big as I could make them. So it's plywood's 1/2-inch marine grade plywood, sanded, routed the edges, got rid of all the sharp edges, and put indoor outdoor carpet on it, and just customized it. So we'll, at least for the side stuff, I wanted to put things on. So first of all, the seats are basically just held on with wing nuts. You just take off all 4 wing nuts, or basically take off the wing nuts, fold it down, flipper, and it just comes right off. The nuts are permanently attached, nutted on, just kind of stays as stub ups, and you just put the seat on and off. There you go. And the plywood on the floor, which obviously is cut to the size of the floor. One of the things that I did is I added 1.25 inch PVC tubing under the floor and have that laying in the ridges. There's a shorter piece on both sides and then 3 longer pieces in the middle. The boat has ridges on the bottom, so it just lays in the ridges and helps distribute the load when you sit on it. So if you sit on the seat and the seat goes down and pushes down on the floor is connected to the plywood, top and bottom, by these rods. So these are steel tubes, or steel 3/8 steel tubing. I mounted the brackets, threaded brackets, on the underside of the plywood and on the floor. And basically it's 3 pieces. This threads in, that threads into the bottom, and then a coupler. And you just tighten down the coupler, and now they're attached. So if the bottom of the boat from the seating goes down, the top of the plywood moves with it. So it works out pretty good. I got that on both ends. All of them screw apart, and works pretty good. The other thing I did is lights wise, I found a couple push button lights. Just push them, they come on. I velcroed the lights. So this is a piece of velcro that wraps around the pole bases. I also found a pretty cool flashlight. This flashlight's does 3 things. It can be a lantern, it can be a flashing light, and it can be a regular flashlight. So if we're out on the water, we got some choices. And I guess what's nice about this is it just crimps to whatever I decide to crimp it to. Very nice. Again, the boat is registered because I have a 30-pound thrust motor on the back. So I stenciled my boat number on there with permanent marker, and it worked out pretty good. So the back plywood, how I got it attached is basically, besides the steel tubing that I have underneath there, I have 1 rope that looped through there, comes up, loops around, comes across the middle, loops around the back, and ties off right there in the corner. Very sturdy. It's not going anywhere. So between the steel tubing that's underneath there and that rope, I think is pretty solid. I obviously added a couple pole holders for the person in the back. And this anchor system you can buy anywhere. Probably the only thing I did on it was obviously notch the plywood so it stays away from the boat. But I know when I took it out, it comes across pretty low right here, and I'd like to go underneath that. So I found this little custom piece on Amazon and added a little wire, and so that ought to keep it up high enough so it winds up pretty good. You basically just turn this and the anchor drops and you crank her back up. So cooler wise, I just got the little plywood framing screwed down to the deck, and this cooler just the size of the cooler. It's roped down, plenty big for drinks for a fishing trip. And I also added a couple rope grabs. We took the boat out, and a 30-pound thrust trolling motor was fine. We pulled a buddy of mine on a kayak, so it's just some place to tie a rope to. Got one on both ends. Didn't get too crazy with a fish finder. This is just your average hummingbird fishing buddy. It can clamp to anything. You can see I can move this anywhere and wherever I'm sitting. Seats are kind of customized. I added a drink holder to each seat. Basically spin. Both seats have that. Let's see, what else do I have? I'm going to buy a couple oars, which are on here. Nice place for those. The back is just for a fish net that pretty much can lay anywhere as needed. The 2 pole holders in the back came with the boat, so they just lay in there. They work pretty good. Not a problem there. I took the transom that came with it, which works pretty good. Just protected a little bit there because I preferred the plywood on top of the transom. So what I did was I really bolted the plywood to the transom. I also have a rope grab back here, but you can see underneath here I just have just a U shape, and there's your attachment for the tie down. But these all just thread. You take these on and off, and this plywood comes off. Got one on both sides. Now one thing I had to do is I had to rebuild my transom plywood because it wasn't tall enough. The one that came with it was down here, and when I put this on there, I couldn't get the trolling motor on. It's too low. So I had a couple pieces of marine grade plywood left. I glued it together to make it that thick. I routed it and sanded it. Got 2 other brackets. You can see what I did. I just customized that and extended the height up enough so now I can use the connection piece works correctly. It's tall enough to work. So yeah, it's pretty cool. Plenty of pull on a trolling motor. Works just fine. So let's see what else. Like I said, a little bit of protection here just to protect the boat. If it does rub the boat a little, that's fine. That's pretty much it. If hopefully this thing, I got to put it in storage till the winter time. Get spring breaks, and we'll head out to the water and show you some. Hopefully catch some fish with this thing. So, all right, well, take care. See ya.